Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. Today we're going to be talking about productivity. I want to tell you about a technique that I use to make myself more productive, but also to reduce my stress, and that is eliminating my to-do list. Tired of pushy recruiters sending you LinkedIn requests for jobs you have no interest in? Tired of blasting out resumes into the dark? If so, you should check out Hired.com. Hired.com flips job searching on its head by having top employers like Facebook come to you after you fill out one simple application. You also get your own job coach to help you on your next job search. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you at least fill out the application. Just go to Hired.com/simpleprogrammer, and when you get hired with Hired, you'll get double the normal sign-on bonus for using that link. So for a long time now, I have not utilized a to-do list. Every once in a while, I fall back into the habit of creating a to-do list or things that I need to get done today versus planning my time. But it's one of those things that, for the most part, I've eliminated. You could check out what I do productivity-wise, like how I plan my week in my video. I did this video on how I plan my week here, which details that. So I'm not going to go into the details of that. You can also check it out. I have in my soft skills book, which if you haven't gotten a copy, make sure you get a copy of Soft Skills Software Developer's Life Manual. In there, I have a whole section on productivity actually, and I do detail exactly what I do to be extremely productive. And I've been able to be pretty dang productive in my career. You can read about it in that book, or you can watch the videos, or you could just check out all the videos here, or just search for productivity on the channel. But what I want to talk about specifically today is eliminating the to-do list. So perhaps you have created to-do lists, right? We all have created to-do lists, and perhaps you've been stressed out by them, right? One of the things that really used to happen to me a lot of times is I'd create this to-do list, and I'd get into this sort of conundrum where when I'm working, I feel guilty because I feel like I should be relaxing more, and when I'm relaxing, I feel guilty because I feel like I should be working more, and so I could never really I would always feel guilty, right, to some degree. If I'm working, I feel bad. If I'm relaxing, I feel bad. So I could never really relax, and I could never give my full 100% to my work because I'm always feeling like I should be doing the other thing. And one of the reasons I found for that happening to me was that I didn't have a very clear delineation of what needed to be done and what constituted success for my day, right? So one of the ways that you try and solve this, at least most people, is they create a to-do list, right? So perhaps you've been there and you've created your to-do list and you put down all the things that you plan on doing today, and then raise your hand if you've ever not completed everything on the to-do list. Now keep your hand raised if every single day that you create a to-do list, you never get everything done, and that to-do list grows and grows, right? So this is a common occurrence. This is what happens a lot of times, and the reason for that is because we don't know how long things are going to take, right? And so what ends up happening is that we're just throwing a wild ass guess out there when we create a to-do list, and that might not be accurate, right? We're just creating a list of things, and so it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's going to stress you out. You feel like you got to be, especially if you're a completionist, right? Which I tend to be a completionist, someone who, if I'm playing a video game, I want to get all the things, get 100% completion. You tend to really be stressed out by not completing your to-do list because it feels like you've got all this stuff undone, right? So it can be really stressful, and it's not really the best way to organize things, and it's not really productive. So what I have done is I've eliminated my to-do list. You can, like I said before, that the video I referenced before, which the link is always in the description, by the way, or you can check out the cards. If you haven't, I think this is the way I have to point. There's a little eye up there. If you don't know about YouTube cards, YouTube has pretty much gotten rid of annotations, so you can check out the cards, but they work on mobile. And anytime I refer to something, you should be able to find it in the cards, so make sure you check out the cards. Anyway, what I've basically done at this point is I've taken out this idea of a to-do list, and instead I schedule my time, right? So like I said in the video, I use a particular technique that I've developed to schedule my time, but aside from the technique itself, the to-do list is just something that you should try and eliminate. And the reason why is, like I said, is because what ends up happening is it just stresses you out, because you can't control what's on that list and what gets done. But what's more effective is to control and schedule your time. So you need some kind of metric that is going to tell you whether or not you've been successful or not, right? Because especially if you're doing kind of programming tasks or a lot of tasks that you might be doing, you don't know how long they're going to take. And so when you make a to-do list and you have all of these things on there, if one thing ends up taking a long time or something comes along and interrupts you, right, then what ends up happening is that you end up having all these things that get undone, and you feel bad because you didn't get those things done. But if you have some other metric, right, so one of the things, like I said, in my own productivity technique, I use the Pomodoro technique, which basically means that I work for 25 minutes, I take a 5-minute break, right? A lot of you that follow this channel, you know, you're pretty familiar with that. But the value of that is not in the silly idea of working focused for 25 minutes and taking a 5-minute break. And I say silly because it's so simple. It's such an easy concept. The value of it for me is that I plan how many pomodori, that's the plural for Pomodoro, that I'm going to do in a day. And that's what my metric is. That's what my goal is. Rather than an arbitrary to-do list that has a bunch of tasks on there that, you know, I don't know how long those things are going to take, right? What does it mean if I completed all my to-do lists? Does that mean that I actually worked hard and maximized my day or not, right? Or versus having a set number of pomodori that I'm going to do, and that set number of pomodori, that's how I judge how much work I've done. If I've actually focused for 25 minutes, 5-minute break, and I've done 8 pomodori in a day, you know, you can change the level to see what works for you. But by doing that, that's so much better than a to-do list. But you don't even have to do either one of those techniques, or you don't even have to do that technique, the Pomodoro technique. The key thing is that you plan your day. You plan what you're going to get done for the day and the time that you're going to spend realistically, so that you can relieve that stress, right? Because when you know what your objective is, and you get that objective done, and it's within reason, it's possible to accomplish, and you absolutely know that it can be done in that time frame, then you can rest when you finish it, right? So this is a really, really important concept. If you have trouble relaxing, if you have trouble having free time and enjoying that, is that you've got to have it very clear with your objective. So one of the techniques that you can do to do this, that I use from time to time as well, is I use my calendar a lot. So I'll schedule things in my calendar, right? And I have that, I know that my workout time is from 3 to 5 every day, right? I've got a routine. I know that I can schedule things in my calendar that I need to get done. In fact, some people that are highly productive, what they do is they schedule every minute in their calendar, up to like 15-minute increments, and they will actually take the whole day and they'll plan it out, and they'll plan what they're going to do at each time, and they know what they're going to do, right? This is a really, really powerful concept. Not exactly what I do. Like I said, I do the Pomodoro technique, and I use that, but I do schedule and plan my week. So right now, you know, it's Sunday, and I have already gone through and I know all the work that I'm going to be doing next week. So I planned it out. I have cards on my Kanban board. It's like a Trello board, and I've put it for the days of the week. Again, you can check out my video on my productivity if you want to see exactly how I do it. But the point is not necessarily the technique itself. The point is really that I'm planning things ahead. And every day when I start my day, one of the things that I really focus on doing is I plan that day. I look at my calendar, I see how much time I'm going to have, appointments that are fixed in there, things that I need to do, and then I take those things and I schedule them out, and I plan out, and I say, okay, this is going to take so much time, this is going to take so much time, and I make a realistic schedule and routine for myself. And then I have an objective. I know when I get this done, and either it's a certain amount of work or the things that are already slated in my calendar, I'm done, or it's so many Pomodoro, or Pomodori. The point is, though, that you have to know when it is that you're done, what your objective is. Otherwise, you'll always feel there's always more work you can do, right? There's always more that you can do, but you have to decide what that is, and so you can judge yourself by that. Then you stop feeling guilty, then you stop feeling bad about yourself all the time, and when you accomplish what you're supposed to accomplish, you can feel good. It also helps motivate you. So, and if you don't accomplish it, then you know that you've messed up, and you need to focus focus more. You need to increase your productivity by getting distracted less, right? You can attack those problems, but when you have this big to-do list and you don't get it done, it doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't give you any information. You don't know why you failed in that case. Whereas if I don't get done what I expect to get done, I always know that if I did all the work that I planned, right? If I did all the Pomodori that I planned for that day or for that week, that the problem is prioritization. That's always the problem if I'm doing all the work, because you can only do what you can do. So I hope that helps you, and I would highly recommend, like I said, get rid of the to-do list, figure out a better system, whether it be using the system like I do with the Pomodoro technique, or if you're just going to schedule things in your calendar, but plan things out ahead of time instead of relying on a list of things to get done, and you'll feel a lot better. Trust me, you'll get a lot more done, and it'll be more beneficial for you overall. All right, that's all I got for you today. If you like this video, if you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button below, and click the bell if you want to be notified when new videos come out. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.